Hello, and thank you for attending SAGE Alerts and Workflow video-based training. Please note that this is video-based training, and content is for training purposes only and intended for new and existing SAGE Alerts and Workflow customers.
Hi, my name is Jane Nichols, and today we are going to talk about value change queries, which identify a change in a database in the Alerts and Automation solution. A value change query identifies a change in a database. In our example today, we will be monitoring a change in the customer's credit limit. The primary table must contain the value of the field or fields that we want to monitor for change. The primary table is the first table referenced in a series of links if you're using more than one table. In our example today, we are using two tables. We have the customer master table and the AR salesman table. You can see on the link tab that the primary table is listed first, which is the customer master table. So the fields that we are planning to monitor today, or the field, is the customer's credit limit, and it does come from the primary table. When creating a value change query, it's important to note that you must have a single field marked as the unique column for that query. In my example, I've used the customer number. You cannot use a unique column that consists of the combination or concatenation of multiple database fields. To create a value change query, click on the Filters tab, and we'll focus on the If Column Values Have Changed box on the right side. It's important to note that you can still specify regular filters just like any other query. However, for this example, we will be focusing on the Column Values That Have Changed box. The list of columns shown here are the fields selected back from the Columns tab of this query from the primary table of the query. In our example, we have chosen to monitor the customer's credit limit. To select the credit line, we highlight it and then click on the right-hand arrow to move it to the right side of the box. It is possible to have the solution monitor multiple fields, and we could do so simply by clicking on company name, for example, and moving it to the right side. If checking for multiple columns, the query will be triggered whenever any one of those fields has its value changed. For this example, we will be working with just the credit limit, so we're going to move the company name back out of our selection. It's important to know how the solution works when checking for a change in a field value. For example, we are running this query once a day at 9 a.m. When the event runs for the first time, the event will not trigger. The solution is basically taking a snapshot of the database, and it's going to remember all of the accounts in the underlying application and remember their current credit limit value. The next time and every time thereafter, when this event runs, it compares the current value of the field being monitored to the old value from the previous run. If the values are different, the event is triggered and the solution replaces the old value with the new current value, and the cycle continues. If you would like to preview the message, the solution ignores the change logic. When I click on the Preview tab, I get a listing of all the accounts in the system. In preview mode, the solution has no knowledge of any preceding value. Also, the solution has the ability to detect when a field has changed and can detect when a field has changed to one or more specific values. In addition to checking if the credit limit has changed, we can set up a filter to check if the new value of the changed value meets certain criteria. In this example, we've set it to be greater than $50,000. I could also put a question mark in the compare value field and make this a parameter-driven field. However, a query is not able to be configured to trigger when a field has changed from one or more specific values. This concludes value change queries in the Alerts and Automation solution. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you for attending Sage Alerts and Workflow video-based training.